novel, and just 10 years later, the suave secret agent became immortalized on film. Now, there have been several Bonds in the 25-year history of the films that followed, and now there's a new one on the horizon. But regardless of the name on the screen credits, there's no doubt that there's no one quite like the dashing, debonair, and dangerous Mr. James Bond.
Sit there, will you? James, where on earth have you been? I've been searching London for you. 007 is here, sir. May see you in a minute.
Money, Penny.
James, where have you been?
Much too far from you, darling.
Same old James. Oh, only more so.
What about the rest of you?
Well, I was going to get around to that.
Well, you'd better go in. M's on leave, and the minister's arrived here with the chief of staff and wants to see you immediately.
Everyone has their own personal favorite Bond, but now there's a new hat in the ring.
What is this?
I've had a few optional extras installed.
Our own Jimmy Carter traveled to London to attend the world premiere of The Living Daylights and to talk with the newest Bond, Timothy Dalton.
The premiere. That's also a very stressful time, I would think, you know, being up there like that. How do you feel when something like this goes on?
Well, it must look so. It really must look so. It was very, very nice. You know, the police had cordoned off the square so no cars could get in. Mariam and I walked down the road and there were barriers and people at the side and they started cheering, you know, and that was, that kind of enthusiasm was really wonderful.
And up the stairs, there's Timothy Dalton, 007, waiting, and his co-star Mariam Darbo beside him. Up the stairs they come, and Timothy Dalton, the new 007, James Bond, ex-naval officer, owner of Aston Martin, meets Prince Charles, ex-naval officer, owner of Aston Martin. Princess now herself meeting Timothy Dalton.
It's so unbelievable, it's really unreal, so it loses, you cease to be nervous. It's just a strange, strange world. But very exciting because, you know, that's the night we've worked for.
As a Royal Shakespearean Theatre and from Bard to Bond, would some of your more serious colleagues, you would say the people who are the real purists, would they criticize you for doing something like this that's more pop entertainment, more mass appeal than something that would be very structured and doing strict Shakespeare in the proper way?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, I know not, because, I mean, some people might have criticized without my knowing it, but I've been overwhelmed by the excitement and enthusiasm for this role. I mean, one must also remember to make the distinction. I mean, one talks about serious and what's so-called not serious. This is a very serious movie. I don't mean it's presented seriously. All work is serious. You work your very hardest to make it great entertainment. And Shakespeare, you know, he did write a lot of comedies and adventures and satires as well as tragedies, and he'd have been thrilled to get a full house laughing and enjoying themselves. I mean, everything has its place. There are films that are cracking good entertainment like The Living Daylights, and there are films that are of a very different nature, but everything has its place, and as long as you feel there's value in the work, it's well worth doing.
Yeah, this time last year, this guy almost didn't get to be Bond. People thought it was going to be Pierce Brosnan from Remington Steele, but it turned out that his contract wouldn't allow him to do it because they called Remington Steele back. So this guy really is pretty lucky that he got the part of Bond.
That's true. He's going to be introducing a new James Bond haircut, too. Because all of them had to come back into this guy. Well, as Jimmy mentioned, Timothy was with the Royal Shakespearean Theatre, so he does have a lot of classical training besides his other film work. And you can tell just by listening to him talk, he's quite charming.
Yes, he is so charming.